Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Me and my friends are having a great time. It's not face to face, it's all online. We're all in our homes, miles away. Love them like my family, what can I say? My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafted with friends, you're never alone.
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Let's have a good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. We are here for yet another day of crafting, and I hope you guys are all ready and set to go. If not, we'll get you there. Don't worry. Good morning. We've got people that tune in from all over the world, so let's just take a quick peek to see who we have out there. All righty, we've got Faker McVeigh. Good morning from lovely Louisiana. 54 degrees. She said the sky is beautiful. Awesome. We've got Debbie. Good morning to you as well. And she's tuning in from Northeast Arkansas at 57 degrees. Awesome. All righty, we've got Joyce Adams and we've got Connie. Good morning to you guys. We've got, let's see, let's scroll a little bit here. We've got Debbie. Good morning. We've got Nancy from Boston. Good morning to you. We've got Becky from North Central Texas. Good morning. All righty, we've got Robin's Quilt Basket. Good morning to you. JBL from Alabama, and she says, Happy Hump Day. Woohoo! Yay! That's right. It is Happy Hump Day, guys. Another day, another reason to celebrate, and another day that we're ready to get by, right? Awesome. Well, good morning. Okay, so let's see. Who else do we have out here? We've got Jenny Owens. Good morning to you. We've got, let's see, Lisa Lilly. Good morning from Richmond, Illinois. Good morning. We've got Flo from Cary, North Carolina. Good morning. We've got Georgette from Knoxville, Tennessee. Awesome. We've got Barb from Central Illinois. Good morning to you. Let's see, Glenda, we've got from Texas. Good morning to you. And Marge from Wisconsin. Good morning. Of course, our friends from Canada are here. Yay! Good morning to you. We've got Quilting with Harriet. Good morning. Yeah. I hope you're feeling very blessed. Yeah, your hubby flew into the Louisiana airport yesterday. Yeah, I saw that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, pretty scary, and I'm glad everyone is safe. Harriet, I'm very, very happy that you guys are safe. That it was a little scary there, seeing that. Yeah. Alrighty. Good morning from Cindy from beautiful Michigan. Good morning to you, Jessica from very early Oregon. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining. You're awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's see. We've got Leslie B, who is Jaws' mom. from Virginia. Good morning to you. We've got Arizona. We've got Sassy. Good morning, Sassy. How are you? Oh, let's see. We've got just people joining in from all over the place. Melinda from Western Pennsylvania. Guys, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your support that you guys give me. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, because today's a little bit of a special day as well. Besides being hump day, it's actually Brian's birthday, who is Lily's other half. She's a friend of mine on this channel. She is on there, and we want to wish Brian a very happy birthday. And if it's your birthday as well, let us know in the chat. We've got a lot of November birthdays coming up here. So let us know when your birthday is so we can put you in our calendar and we can say happy birthday to you as well. So Brian, I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Thank you, guys. Okay. All righty. Awesome. I see the chat is still going around. River Rose from Tennessee. Good morning. All right. I think we are good and ready. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves our cups. And if you're tuning in for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and we host this channel to just talk about everything crafting, from sewing, quilting, crocheting, and so much more. So if that's something that you're into, you're definitely in the right place. We just like to have a lot of fun, you know, hang back, do some demos, do some projects, and just have a lot of laughs. So if that's something that you like, go ahead and put your name in the chat. Say hello to everyone and introduce yourself, because we have an awesome community out there. All right, raise your glasses. Go ahead and grab yourself a cup of whatever it is you have in the morning. No judgments here. Coffee, tea, soda, water. I'm just going to have my water with my ice on here. So go ahead and raise up those glasses. If you don't have anything, no worries. I'll pour you a cup. Go ahead and raise your glasses, and we're going to wish Brian a very happy birthday. And we are also going to wish everyone to have a fantastic day. It's going to be a great one out there. So raise those glasses nice and high and go ahead and give yourself a little swivel here. Oh yeah, that feels real good. I'm gonna take one more. Ah, it's great to start that off in the morning. Feels like you get energized. Yes, we're ready to go. Okay, yay, cheers. Yes, cheers everyone, cheers, cheers. All right, no problem. Faker me fake, we've got your coffee. You know we've got that. Don't worry, stop cutting the line. You're gonna be good. All right, let's go ahead and grab our snacks, shall we? Because we've got to have some snacks. Some people get really hungry in the morning. So let's just go ahead. And we're going to bring you a little bit of warmth, because it's getting a little cool over there in the north. So let's bring a little bit of warmth. I thought it'd be a great idea to take a little walk on the beach today. Don't you think? Let's kind of head over there and go to our food shack, because we've got some stuff there. And I'm pretty sure that everybody's hungry. So let's roll out that food shack. There it is. Just don't forget, do not feed the dolphins. We've got all kinds of stuff. And of course, we've got donuts in there and tons of snacks. So go ahead and bring whatever it is that you want. Bring all of those little hungry tummies, and we're gonna go ahead and feed them with all our wonderful snacks. And of course, we've got birthday cake for Brian, so don't worry about that. We also got cupcakes too. But here's our birthday cake for Brian. Happy birthday. I wish you all the best on this wonderful day. So go ahead and grab your cake. And I know you may be working or on your way, so no worries. We're gonna send you a piece of cake via the drone. So no worries about that. We'll go ahead and get it delivered to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that drone. And for those of you who just don't want to make it out of bed this morning, don't worry, the drone will bring you your snack. You're all good. Okay, so there goes your cake, Brian. I hope you enjoy that. Alrighty. So we've got our snacks, we've got our drinks. I hope you're in your cozy spot or in a safe place to watch, because we got to get started. We've got a lot of things to do. Yay, Faker McFace got her blueberry bagel. Brian likes chocolate. Awesome. Okay, we'll get that chocolate cake over. Don't worry. and muffins and cakes and everyone, wow, chantilly cake. Everyone is just really hungry this morning. Cheese and crackers. You've been up for a while, Cindy? Yeah. Okay. No problem. I'm a kind of lunch girl myself too. So, alrighty, let's get started because we've got a lot to talk about here. Okay, so if you haven't been tuning in all week, we are working on this book. We're doing a pattern out of this book. It's called the Mini Wonderful Curves, and we went ahead and we ordered the ruler. So we've got the ruler that works with this book. So we're going ahead and we are doing the Giving Tree pattern. So it resembles a little Christmas tree. I think it's super, super cute if you haven't seen it yet. And so we've been working on this and we are just almost there, guys. It's so amazing. So let me just give you a quick look for those who haven't seen it. This is what it will look like towards the end. I've got it on my desk cam here. So really neat. The ruler does all kinds of curves for you to be able to make these curves here on the edge. And then you'll be able to make this beautiful tree along with the star and just have a beautiful wall hanging. Now it does measure finished size on this is 28 by 35. So it's a pretty nice size for you. Not too big yet not too small. Be perfect to kind of hang around somewhere in the house with your holiday decorations. So let's get right to it, shall we? Okay. All right. So let me start bringing over the boards. I've got several boards. As you can see here, I still have each of the layers of this tree on the board. I also have some of the extra fabric here on top because we do need to cut the star. I haven't cut that one yet, and we're using this fabric to represent the star, and all of the side background fabrics are here as well. We've got some pretty big cuts. Now, I did go ahead and put together, I was piecing last night, and I put together the bottom. Oh no! Uh-oh. Oh no! Well, we had a little disaster here. A little disaster that my board fell down, but that's okay. Oh no. It must have came off. I knew I had bumped it, but I didn't think I bumped it that bad. Okay, no worries, no worries. It's alive, right? It's alive, so it's okay. We'll just set it to the side here. Oh no, all my cards fell down. Well, that's not cool. My little tapes just must have not been holding really well. That's okay. Oh no, yeah. It's alive, guys. Well, here's my window. Not sure what happened. Let me just grab my threads. Are kind of knocked over. I want to make sure they don't fall over as well. And some of them kind of came off their spools here, but that's okay. We can pick all of that up. My little decorations here that, you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's just the board. The board fell down. It probably got knocked off and we didn't realize it, but it looks like we were able to get everything. Everything's just toppled over on the desk, so I can pick that up later. No worries. We're all good. No one got hurt. All right. So let's kind of just move on. We're all good here. Okay, so like I was saying, I went ahead and I sewed the bottom piece, and this is the bottom piece of the tree here. Let me just show you that picture again. Hold on. Okay, so I'm kind of starting from the bottom up, okay? So this bottom piece here, the bottom piece here is what I put together. It's just basically the trunk. That's all it is. So it was just the simple pieces that we put together in the very beginning, and I added the background fabric to now make the nice long piece. So this is as wide as the quilt is going to be. So it's not like a tremendously huge quilt, right? It's a nice size. That's about as wide as you're going to get, which I think is a really nice size for a wall hanging. So I think it's going to be good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put this over to the side because that part is done, just waiting to be pieced to the other row. So let's go back to the dust cam here so I can show you here. So what I'm doing is I've gone ahead and I've done this bottom piece here. And so now I'm just going to build the tree all the way up to the star. Okay, and so I'm starting with this bottom row right here. And you don't have to do it this way. I just thought, you know, you could go from the top down, but I kind of wanted to work from the bottom up just because I had these pieces here and I wanted to get all of these pieces in and then work in these larger pieces, okay? That way I can make sure that I'm nice and squared going all the way up this way. Whereas if I start this way, and let's say my cut was off or my sewing was off or something was off on the top here, by the time I get down here on these last two layers, if my cuts or my sewing is not right, these are not going to line up to the end. And so I'll end up cutting off some of these points here, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just play it safe and work from the bottom up, if that makes sense, right? I'm going to just kind of make sure that this line right here, right where these points are going to stay nice and square and straight going all the way up. Now, if I see that I am off and I'm short an area here, then that means I probably cut it just a little short, or I sewed it, the seam allowance, a little bit more than 1/4 inch. And so I would either adjust my seam allowance so that I can make sure that it's covered all the way, or I can literally just cut another piece of fabric and make sure that it is on the right size. So that's kind of my rationale as to why I'm going from the bottom up. With typically you don't see. You usually see things, you know, from the top down. But that's why I'm doing it. It's really because of these points, and I want to make sure that both ends are going to be covered, and I'm going to be able to see the actual point and not have to cut it off because I either shorted the background fabric or something went wrong as I was sewing all of these layers. Because there's a lot of layers that you're going to have to do, a lot of rows, I mean, that you'll have to do before you can get down to this area. And I want that to really show. I think that's important. So that's why I'm going to start from the bottom up. So let's see how this goes, right? I cut out my fabric for my star. So I do have to cut this out with the ruler. And it's a little bit weird the way they want you to cut it. But, you know, I'm just following along and going with it. So let's see what happens now. Let's, matter of fact, let's do the star first. I'm going to grab my ruler here. I'm going to show you guys if I can move these over. Okay. So the first thing, it's going to be two pieces that you're doing this with, right? Because there's going to be essentially 4 pieces that make up that star. So if you look in the book, and I have to say, the book, I love the illustrations, but I think the description and the writing of the pattern in the book could have been just a little bit better, just because it doesn't tell you, like, it'll refer to the fabric, and obviously, like, for the first couple of pictures, you see the brown, you know that that's the trunk of the tree. But I think it could have been a little bit more descriptive as to what fabric you're using, and maybe just a little bit more on the explanation. I mean, it's really good, and with the illustration you can figure it out, but it does require you to pay attention to it a little bit. It doesn't kind of spell it out for you too much, which I kind of like it to do that, right? Wait, I feel more confident and I'm more sure that this is what they want you to do, right? But in anyways, up on the top, it does talk about the star, and it talks about taking a 5-inch square piece of fabric, which is what we have here. And what they want you to do is cut it in half. So we're going to cut that into a diagonal here. And of course, I left my ruler back here. So let me grab that again. Okay. So here is the ruler. And I'm just going to line it up from one end to the other, right on the points. And they literally just want you to cut this in half on the diagonal. Just cut it in half. Now, just be very careful because you're going to be cutting this in half right here. That's going to leave this totally exposed, and you want to be careful how you are handling your fabric after that, because once this is cut, it's really going to have the ability to stretch, and we don't want it to stretch. So we're just going to go ahead and line this up. I'm going to grab my rotary cutter, and then I'm going to go ahead and just cut right on the diagonal here. Okay, here we go. So once we have that cut, let's see. Oh, got a tiny little thread right here. Boy, this is going to be my day, I guess, huh? There we go. Okay. Maybe I needed to have some more water. All righty. So we've got this here. We've got our 2 triangles that are cut now. The instructions tell you to trim it a 1/2 inch on each side. But it's kind of confusing because you're not sure, do I do that while I'm in the ruler, or do I do that when I'm outside the ruler? And it doesn't really tell you where to lay the ruler down, but it does show you in the picture. So according to the picture, you kind of see this lined up on the 2-inch mark here. And so you'll line it up at 2 inches, and they want you to go ahead and cut this inner part, and you're going to discard this inner part because you're only using this outer part here. That's what's going to be part of the star. But it does tell you to trim a 1/2 inch on each side. And if you look here and you see where you're lined up, you're going to see a 1/2 inch here, and you're going to see about a little bit more than 1/2 inch. Let me scoot this over just a little bit. And I'm going to bring this to the desk cam so you guys can see this just a little bit better. And the boards are kind of propping it up for me. So let's see. Hopefully that didn't move too much. But you see here, we have our triangle now lined up on the 2-inch mark right here. According to this picture, that's where it's lined up. It's on the 2-inch mark here. And so you're going to be trimming off about a 1/2 inch. So a 1/2 inch would be right where this line is here and this here. So we need to line that up so that you're cutting about a little bit from each side. So this is basically what you're going to trim off right here. Okay, you're trimming just that tiny little piece off. Okay, now you could do it with this ruler, or you can just go ahead and grab another ruler and trim them off as well. So it's totally up to you. But when you go ahead and do the cut, we're going to be cutting it right here on the slot. And you're going to have this skinny little piece here that you're just going to discard. We are not using that, but we are using the rest of this here. And that's going to be part of the star. And you're going to do this 4 times, right? Because you're going to have 2 triangles here, and then you're going to be using the second one where you're going to be cutting this as well and repeating the same process. And that's going to leave you with 4 pieces that are going to join together to make up the star. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just, actually don't leave that there. We'll go ahead and just use my ruler here, and I'm going to just line this up, make sure that my triangle is nice and straight on my cutting mat. And I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch from the tip of that triangle. And it's such a tiny, tiny piece that you are cutting off. If you can see that, just looks like little dog ears. That's all you're trimming off there. And you're just going to measure that 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab my rotary cutter, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Let me just make sure my ruler is nice and straight here. And make sure my triangle is there. There we go. So 1/2 inch, snip that off, and then just kind of rotate it, and you're going to do the same thing again. And we're just going to trim off a 1/2 inch from the other sides. And you're going to see what a tiny amount it is that you're trimming off. There we go. Okay. Now, why do I make sure that my ruler is straight all the way? You don't want to make your cut if your ruler's like this, right? Make sure that you want a 1/2 inch, but you're also checking that your 1/2 inch is a straight 1/2 inch that you're cutting, right? You don't want to have your ruler all lopsided like here. So go ahead and line up your triangle on your cutting mat, and then when you go ahead and line up your ruler, make sure that, you know, when you're at that 1/2 inch mark, make sure that the back of the ruler here is also lined up as well, and it's nice and straight. That way you're cutting it nice and straight and not at an angle. Okay. All right. So we've done that. And so we've got our piece here, and look, these are the tiny little pieces that we cut off. Very, very small. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to place this on our ruler here on the 2 inch line. And we're going to go ahead and cut. We're going to make that cut here so that we have our little piece of the star. You're going to notice that the edges, where's my little pointer here? The edges here, or the ends, are going to be right where this little slot is. So you want to kind of just make sure that both sides are nice and flush here. You want to make sure that both ends are nice and even. Okay, looks good there. And then I can go ahead and make that cut. So let me just drag that over. Bring the whole thing over here. And we'll try to make that cut. Let me make sure nothing moved. I think it looks good. And I want to go ahead and make the cut. So I will grab my rotary cutter, hold it down with my hand, and then just go ahead and go through the slot and cut that piece off. Drag this away. See how, I think I need to change my blade again already. My goodness. There we go. Okay. So this is the tiny little piece that you're going to get, and we're not going to do anything with this. You can discard it. You can try to use it for another project. Who knows? But this is the part that you're going to need to make your star, and you're going to need 4 of these because that's what's going to be up on the top, and eventually will form the star. So go ahead and make 4 of those. I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'll let you guys do the other one on your own. So let's line this up here on my cutting mat. Make that nice and straight. I'm going to grab my ruler here, and I'm going to line it up, and line it up this way as well, right on the 1/2 inch mark. Whoops. Now, I like to line it up where I can really see it. And sometimes when you're lining it up right on the line, you've got these little circles that are in my way and I can't really see. So I'm doing it right off of it so that I can see where my 1/2 inch mark is. And so then I'll just hold it down and just snip off that little piece. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So very easy. Just make sure you're nice and straight. Take your time. Line up your ruler. Make sure your ruler is straight as well. And then go ahead and snip her off. Okay, again, tiny, tiny little triangles. Little dog ears is what basically you're taking off there. Okay, so now we are ready for this ruler. And I like to kind of put it on this so I can move it around and get the best cut. And again, I'm going to line it up on that 2 inch mark. And I'm going to make sure that I'm nice and centered here. So I'm looking at my corners and I'm looking to make sure that they are evenly distributed here on each side. Okay, so I'm really looking first that I am straight on that 2 inch line, And I'm looking on my edges here to make sure that this is straight, you know, is evenly distributed on both sides here. So I want to make sure that that's nice and even. So that way I know that I am right on the point here. So that 4-inch mark is pretty much right across from your point here. Okay. And so once I'm happy with that, just go ahead and hold it down and put your rotary cutter in the slot and just follow that all the way through and then just pull it off. And there you go. So this is going to be discarded here. And now we've got two pieces that are going to be our star. And these two will kind of line up like this. And eventually we'll get probably something like that once it's all kind of done. So it's going to start looking like a star. That's just your top. You still have the bottom to go, and then you'll just continue that. So those are the pieces for your star. So I wanted you guys to see how we put that together. So I'm going to put the star over to the side with the bottom here. And we're just going to kind of continue on here. So I want to show you guys what I was able to do last night. Let me send these to the side here. So last night we talked about me sewing these together. So I went ahead and I sewed them together. I've got all my pieces sewn together. So now we've got the curve along with the outer circle here, and it's nice and sewn, and I pressed it really quick. And then I wanted to show you guys how you trim them down to size. So when you start putting these together, you're going to start trimming them. And when you trim them, and I'll bring this one because it's a little easier to see since it's lighter. You can see here, as you trim them down to that 4-inch size, you're going to see that the tails will disappear. So you had these little tails here before, right? That's going to be gone once you trim this down. And then you're going to be left with a nice 4-inch block that has that nice curve on here. So makes it really nice. You're going to see a little bit of a gap here because you still have to piece that together, right? And so this is going to form those nice little points on each end, which is really, really nice. It's going to come together very nicely. Okay, so let's see here. Hope trying to remember this on this side. Remember, we did take a picture and we talked about taking a picture of your project, right? So on the bottom here, I think it was, hold on, let's see, it was this one. Okay, so these two design boards represent the bottom of the tree. And the way I know that is because I have this white piece on the end, which represents my background fabric. And so if you look at the design itself, the design here, you have that white background fabric attached to your green fabric here, and you have that on both ends for the last two rows here. And so those two rows represent the bottom. So I know that this here is going to represent one side, and then this representing the other side of the tree. And so I went ahead and I trimmed them down to size, and then I started sewing them together. And you'll see you've got your nice oh, you can't see that, can you? Let me see if I can move some of this out of the way. Okay. Let's focus a little bit here. Okay, much better. Okay, so here is the nice row that we've sewn together. Okay, and so we've got the background fabric along with all the other pieces all ready to go, and this is all going to be one side, and so we've got to put together the other side, and then I'm going to join them in the middle. And so this background piece will go out because that is the outer part of the tree, and I'm working my way into the inner part, and my inner part will be joined with my other design board. Let's put it on the overhead here because that's a little bit wider shot. So we've got one board that represents that bottom portion, and the tree curves are going one way, right? And then we have the other design board where I have the other side of the tree where the curves are going the opposite way. And so these two here are going to be my middle section. That's what I'm going to be joining together to make that one bottom row. Okay, makes sense? Making sure that your curves are going the opposite direction. So as you start piecing this together, if you get out of sorts a little bit, just kind of think of the concept and look at the pictures that you took, and just look at the picture in the book. You can see the curves, you're curving out, right? So you need to kind of join the two in the middle, but make sure that all your curves are going the right way. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so me and Miss Molly were up sewing these last night. So let's kind of finish these off. I wanted to kind of just keep going, but I kind of forced myself to stop so that I can do it with you guys. So I'm going to put these to the side as well. Need to make some space here. And we're going to wake up Miss Molly. And let's see if we can get some sewing done. So I'm going to scoot these. Actually, I think I can leave them right over here. Alrighty, let's bring Miss Molly over. Good morning, Miss Molly. There we go. Okay, so at this point, once you have trimmed these, it's pretty easy. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Hold on. Miss Molly, just hold off, will you? We forgot to trim them. I've got to show you how to trim them first. Okay, so I purposely left this one because it was a lighter fabric so that you can see how this gets trimmed off. All right, it's a little tricky, and I'll have to show you in the book. And this is where I think, you know, they could have done just a little bit better of a job, but it's okay. I mean, the pictures do really a great job, but when you are squaring off your shapes, I kind of have the book in front of me because I have to look at the direction of the ruler itself and where how the fabric is placed. So basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you are trimming up your pieces, you have your inner circle here, which is my white background, and then we have the outer circle. Let's call it an outer circle, okay? So this outer piece here, which is in the green. We need to trim this down to 4 inches, but the way to do that with the ruler is basically taking your ruler and making sure that, you know, it's facing you. So you've got the wording on the ruler that says QCR Mini. Make sure that is facing you so you can read it, and then just kind of lay it down flat, okay? And then you're going to make sure that this bottom line here, that 4-inch line, is inside that circle. I'm sorry, inside this white piece of fabric, because you're basically going to trim this from 4 inches to 4 inches. So it's this square right here. That's what you are keeping. And so this is your opportunity to kind of, it's almost like fussy cutting a little bit, just making sure that you get all the pieces. And what you are looking to do on this, and let me just double check myself here. Okay. I'm going to put this down. How can I explain this? I'm going to put this down here facing me. So my inner circle is facing me here. I've got my ruler and I'm reading the ruler to myself. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my ruler clockwise, okay, and then put it down on the little block here. And so now I've got the words on the ruler are kind of facing over to my left, and you want to line it up with that 4-inch line. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that on that 4-inch line, you are really looking at this right here. Let me bring it over to the desk cam. It makes it a little bit easier. So the way this ruler works, it has this 1/8 of an inch line that is drawn here and also on this end here. So you see that 1/8 of an inch line that you have? And I'll try to move these so maybe you can see it a little better with the white background. Okay. So this is the edge of your rulers. You've got an 1/8 of an inch line here, and you've got an 1/8 of an inch line there. The idea is for you to line up your block to that 1/8 of an inch line. You are not lining up to the edge of the ruler. You're lining up to the 1/8 of an inch line at the 4-inch mark. So basically right here, right above where the little circle is. And then you're going to be lining up on this end right here. Okay, not here, it's here. You want this 1/8 of an inch, and the 1/8 of an inch is going to be lined up right where your edge is. And let me try to line it up correctly here. Okay, so there's my 1/8 of an inch line, and there's the edge of my curve right here. I am lining it up right against that edge. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So if I look on this side, I see the edge of my curve is right on that 1/8 of an inch line. Okay, let's see if you can see that. I'll try to give it a minute to focus. Okay, so right here on the 1/8 of an inch is where you want the edge of your curve to be. And then the same thing on this side, you want your edge of your curve to be right on that 1/8 of an inch line. And then you're just making sure that the 4-inch line here, all of your fabric is lined up here. And then you're going to have fabric sticking out, whether it be on this side or on this side. And that's fine because you're going to be trimming all of that away. So this is why this ruler is really nice, because let's say I was off of my 4-inch seam allowance, 1/4-inch seam allowance. Because I'm trimming it down to the 4 inches, it allows me to then kind of self-correct it here in this process. Okay. Now, if you're thinking, well, why doesn't my curve line up with this here? It's not supposed to. Okay. It's not supposed to line up with this. All of this here, and it looks kind of crazy, but all of this is going to be trimmed off. And then you're going to rotate this and you're going to trim it off again. Okay. And so again, the edge of your curve is lined up to that 1/4 inch, I'm sorry, the 1/8 of an inch solid line that's on the ruler on one end. And then the other side of the curve is also going to be lined up on that 1/8 of an inch line. Okay. So you definitely want to do that. Oh, Crafting on a Dime renewed her membership. Well, thank you. Thank you guys. If you guys are interested in our membership, go ahead and hit that join button. It's a lot of fun. I've got some more stuff coming there. It's just since Mr. H has been off, I've been a little bit off, but I'm going to be putting a lot more things in there soon. Okay, so now that I've got this all lined up, I'm going to bring this over to my cutting mat here, and we're going to go ahead and cut that. And so I'm more concerned about my corners here and making sure that my corners are lined up on that 1/8 of an inch line. Okay, I'm not so concerned on the end, although I want to make sure that all my fabric is underneath that 4-inch line. Okay, and then all you're going to do is cut that excess piece. So I'm going to grab my rotary cutter here, cut this way. This is where a rotating mat really comes in handy. Cut that way. Okay, so now I've trimmed this side. I still need to trim this end here. You're going to have 2 little pieces sticking out that need to be trimmed off. So now we're just going to pick this ruler up, and I'm just going to rotate this all the way around. And now we're just going to be lining this up here. I've already got this trimmed off. So I want to go ahead and line up my pieces here on that 4-inch line. So just make sure you're nice and squared. I've got this all trimmed, so this is ready to go. It's nice and even and clean. And this is everything that I'm going to be trimming off here. Okay, so we have a little bit of white. We have that piece here of fabric that we need to trim off, as well as another one here. So let's go ahead, now that it's nice and lined up, let's go ahead and trim that off here. Okay, and then just rotate it and grab that other end. Not too much on this side, but we did trim some off. Okay. And there you have it. You have a nice, clean 4-inch square. Okay, and it has that beautiful curve right here. This is ready to go and get pieced on with the other blocks here. So you can really make some really nice things now. So now you're ready to just start piecing. So once you have that, and you do have to be a little careful when you are doing your trimming, just making sure that you're trimming it off correctly. And then once you have them all trimmed off, you're just ready to start sewing. So I think that's what we're ready to do here. So I'm going to go back to my, which one am I doing? This one right here. Let's put this underneath. I'm going to go back over here. We're going to start piecing this together so that we can get our next row here. Okay. So that's how you trim it off. And I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that, because the pictures are pretty good. The wording, it probably could have used a little bit more, but I think because the pictures are with it, you're able to kind of make it out. But I can see where some people can get a little bit confused on that, but not too bad. So really happy with that. So now let me put my rulers over to the side. And now we can bring Miss Molly over. Okay. All right, Miss Molly, here you go. All righty. She's ready. And are you awake? I think you're awake now. So now that we've got everything all trimmed off, it's just a matter of putting right sides together and getting them all sewn together. Just making sure that all of your circles are going in the same direction, right? We don't want anything like this, right? So you want to make sure they're all going in the right direction, all of your curves here. And so this is all going to be facing up. So what I'm going to do, I just keep them on my design board lined up the way they are. And then I'm just going to do right sides together and make sure that I know that this is the side that I need to sew. So I'm going to bring that over now. And we'll bring this over to Miss Molly and just kind of piece these together, line it up. You can use a pin if you'd like. And then just put her right on that 1/4-inch seam allowance. I'm using that diagonal seam tape to help me out there, making sure things are nice and aligned. And I'm looking at my other side here as well, right? So I am lining it up here, but I'm also looking at this end here. Don't forget to neglect this end, right? Because if you neglect this, what could happen is you can get something like this. And you don't want that, right? You want to make sure this is going to be straight as well. So you're looking at this end here, lining this up, right? Looking at this point here, line that up. Make sure that's good. And then you're also looking at this point. So it's like there's at least 3 points that you're looking at. And then just go ahead and put that underneath. And then we'll go ahead and give that a quick sew. And let me see, my sewing foot ran off on me. There we go. Okay. And so there we have it. We'll have to press her open. But we've got this all put together here. And we still need to attach the row above it. So all of this is going to get eaten away at the seam allowance. And then you're going to be left with a really nice point on the end there. Okay, so keep going, then just kind of bring it back to my design board, making sure that I'm picking it up the right direction, lining it up here, and then just going ahead and piecing it together. And that's how you're going to just keep going and do all your rows exactly the same way. Okay, so again, lining this up on all 3 sides, putting it down, and then just go ahead and do that 1/4 inch seam. Now, when you get to this point here where you have the curve, you want to make sure that this stays nice and flat. I went ahead and pressed it and it's pretty flat, but just keep your eye on it because you don't want it to flip over on you. So just, you know, give it a little bit of support if you can. Because you want to make sure that this stays down and it's not flipped over in this direction, right? You want your seams to lay nice and flat. And there we go. We've got our second one there. So I'm going to bring it back to my design board again. Go ahead and flip this one over. And then we're going to go ahead, check our 3 points here, making sure all 3 points are aligned. And on this end here, and then go ahead, and this one has the curve underneath, but it's going the right direction, so we're good. Go ahead and put that right underneath your foot, give it the support. And again, we're coming up to the curve here, so I'm holding it down. And there we go. Okay. There we are. We've got our row. Let's take a look. Okay, let's go over to our desk cam. So you can see here we've got a nice row. And where this is going to go, and let me just move this over so I can show you the entire row together. So if I pick up, and I know I've moved these around quite a bit, so I'll have to go back and check. Oh, they're already on here. Okay. So let's say this, well, I can't do it because these are the 2 rows this way. Let me see if I can go. I'd have to piece the other row together. Let's just pretend this was not the outer piece, okay? These 2 inner pieces will basically join here. But of course, you can see here they're going the wrong way because this is actually the row that goes on top. So this is going to be on top of this here. Okay, so we've got the 2 rows put together this way, and this is just one side of the tree because the other side of the tree is on this board right here. Okay. So let me just make sure I didn't mix up. Yeah, okay. So this and this will go together. Okay. Then we'll have this, then we'll have this. And then I believe it was this one. And then these will go together for the next row. And I'll have to check my my phone with my picture. We didn't get to trim this one off, but you're going to see how the rows are going to start building up this way, and then I'm going to bring them in the middle here. So I am basically, and I guess, yeah, I'm showing it to you upside down. Let me try to turn it so that you guys could see it. Sorry about that. All right. So here we go. And let me bring so you can visually see this a little better. So here's the bottom of the tree. Okay. Lined up something like this, right? And so here's the design board with 1/2 of the tree, points going the right way, we just did both of these rows. So these rows eventually will come together here, okay? And so you'll have the 2 rows here, and then you have the other side of the tree that you need to put together, and that will be coming over here. Okay, and then eventually I'm going to do these 4 and these 4, right? And then I'm going to sew these together down the middle. So eventually, after I finish sewing these 4, and then I do these 4, I'm going to have my strips like that. And then I'm going to join them in the middle to make one long strip this way. And then once I have my long strips, then I will start doing the rows and just piecing those together, working from the bottom up. Okay, that makes sense. So the whole time I am looking at my edges here because I want to make sure that I'm nice and lined up going all the way up. Because as you move up your tree, is going to require you to put in some pretty big pieces here, okay? Because as the tree starts to get more narrow, you're gonna need to add more background pieces to it. And so I'm just kind of working my way up this way. And this way, it's just gonna be easier for me to make sure that I trimmed it at the right size and my sewing is at the accurate 1/4 inch, and that I'll be able to kind of pull it all together. So this is what we have so far. By tomorrow, I will have all of my rows completely done because it's just now piecing these. Once you finish cutting and trimming these off, you're just going to start piecing these. It's just going to go so fast. So we'll have all of these together, and then all we have to do is put our rows together and we'll be done. It's that simple. Yeah, you know, they make it look complicated, but it is really simple. And I love how these curves turns out. And see how the tree is now nice and curved here. At this point, you need to decide, are you going to start putting some embroidery on here? Are you going to do some of those embellishments that we talked about yesterday? Those would be really a lot of fun. So you can definitely take these after you've pieced all this together. You can then take it to your embroidery machine and add little designs on here. So we just may do something like that. We'll have to see how much time we have. All right, so guys, this is definitely where we are at right now. I'm going to continue and finish trimming off the rest of these, and then I'll go ahead and sew these all the way across. And so if you guys are doing this, I hope you are sewing these along with me. And, you know, don't forget to show your progress in Facebook because we want to see where you're at your point, this point of the project. So this, again, it's going to come together really quick. I mean, we do a lot of talking in between, but this project can be done in a day. It's really that simple. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, let's get on over to our inspirational quote of the day because we're almost at the end of our hour. So let's head on over and grab our quote. So today's inspirational quote of the day is, "Holiday cheer begins in the sewing room long before the lights and garlands go up." And isn't that the truth? I know a lot of people out there are starting to bring out their decorations and celebrate. And you can go into the stores and you see they're all decorated for Christmas. Well, we've been at it for a while already because we want to be nice and ready for Christmas and have all of our little projects ready to go. Nancy, are you going to do the Santa? Yes, I am. Yes, that's going to be our next one. So this was kind of our first one out the door with our curved ruler, and we're going to be doing the Santa next. So if you do not know which Santa she's talking about the Post Santa here. And this is a pattern by So Kind of Wonderful, and it's using the same mini ruler, and it's going to be another wall hanging that can hang right next to this tree one. So I think it's going to be really neat. So it'll be a lot of fun. If you haven't gotten the pattern, go ahead and get it. Link is below. It's going to be a lot of fun putting this together. All right, guys, I know our hour is up. I want to thank you guys for all of your support, and I hope you have an amazing day today. Thank you so much for being here. and being with me on my little sewing journey here. Thanks again. I hope you have a great day, and happy birthday again to Brian. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.